Hello and welcome to another edition of 310 to Left, a special edition as we continue looking back at the 2024 Red Sox Hall of Fame inductions. Tom Caron with you, flying solo this week. Alex Spear has this episode off. Not only did the Red Sox honor three champions, three former players at this year's Hall of Fame inductions, but as always, they held their Fenway Honors Award. It was created in 2016 by Larry Lucchino to recognize an individual or organization for their charitable contributions. This year's Fenway Honor paid tribute to Tim and Stacy Wakefield, a remarkable couple who left us far too soon, but who left behind a legacy that set a new standard for community service off the field.
As we come together tonight to honor Elaine Steward, Trot Nixon, Jonathan Papelbon, Dustin Pedroia, and Billy Rohr's remarkable one-hitter in 1967, we celebrate the enduring legacies of Tim and Stacy Wakefield. Tim, as you know, was the Red Sox honorary chairman for 10 years. It is accurate to say that Tim's extraordinary accomplishments as a Red Sox pitcher cannot even compare to the incredible, enduring impact Stacy and Tim had in our community. They were always present, supporting our Red Sox Foundation events, whether it was our golf tournaments that Tim created, Picnic in the Park, or the Foundation concert parties on the Sam deck. And tonight, we're blessed to welcome Tim and Stacy's most cherished legacy, Bree and Trevor Wakefield.
Bree and Trevor, it is with immense pride and heartfelt admiration that we present you with the Fenway Honors in recognition of your mom and your dad. They were extraordinary individuals with the biggest hearts in the very soul of our community. Their legacy lives on through you, inspiring us all to be better, kinder, and more compassionate.
And as we mourn the unfair passing of your mom and dad, we promise that both of you will forever be a part of our Red Sox family. You have inherited not only a grateful Red Sox nation, you now have countless uncles who played alongside your father. And each one of them, as well as Linda and I, stand ready to mentor and love you the way Tim and Stacy would have. So Bree, if you don't get straight A's next semester at Boston College, don't be surprised if one of us or Justin Pedroia comes over to your dorm and kicks your ass. And Trevor, while it's okay to enjoy all the music you love at those concerts here at Fenway Park, Linda and I are counting on you to obey that 1 a.m. curfew.
Trevor and Bree, your presence is a testament to the amazing bond that your parents shared with our Red Sox family. And your parents, alongside you, have touched countless lives with your warmth, generosity, and unwavering spirit. So thank you so much.
Every year at the Red Sox Hall of Fame inductions, they take a moment to honor a memorable moment. This year, it was Billy Rohr's first start, a 21-year-old taking the mound at Yankee Stadium at the ballpark's opening day, facing New York as a member of the Red Sox. And he came within one strike of a no-hitter. He put New England on notice that this season was going to be something special. The impossible dream was happening. That 1967 season created most of what we now know as Red Sox Nation. Billy, take us back to that day in April of 1967. What do you remember the most?
I think what I remember the most, Tom, is that the night before that game, my roommate Jim Lonborg, who's here tonight, took me out to dinner, and then I thanked him by keeping him up most of the night trying to go over the Yankee hitters.
All of the night, he said.
I of course recall Carl's catch out in left field. People asked me what did I think between the time he hit it and the time Carl caught it. And the good news there is it was about 1 second of elapsed time, so you didn't have to think about much. And of course I recall the fanfare and Jackie Kennedy and what have you when the game was over. But the other thing I recall frequently is all the kids from New York hanging over the edge of the warm-up facility telling me what Whitey Ford was about to do to me and all my friends from Boston.
I'm guessing it wasn't very nice.
It could have been better.
That catch by Yaz, we just saw it in the highlight. What was going through your mind? Like you said, not much time to think about it, but off the bat, what are you thinking?
Off the bat, I'm thinking the ball's going to be over Carl's head. There's no way it's not, but thankfully it was one of those 300-mile-an-hour line drives that it doesn't get up in the air much. It just keeps going faster and further. And Carl intercepted it, bless his heart.
Triple Crown winner that season, obviously. What was he like? You were a young guy on the team. What was it like to have him around?
Oh, Yaz was everything he should have been. He was Triple Crown in every sense of the word. He led the team. He probably disliked Dick Williams at least as much as the rest of us, if not more. But Carl was a great leader and a great example.
The year before, in 1966, this would have been a big crowd for some of their games. And Dick Williams said, "We're going to be good in 67. We're going to win more than we lose." He tried to instill that confidence from the start. What did that mean to the team?
Well, it meant a lot, and I recall reading the records about the attendance in the years preceding 67, and I do recall after that game in New York, we came back a week later, and I pitched against the Yankees again here that Friday night, and the place was sold out, and my recollection is it's the first time it had been sold out since Princeton was a junior college.
And he won't say it, he beat the Yankees again 4 days later, that Friday night here at Fenway.
I did.
The nurturing, gentle style of Dick Williams, as you pointed out. What was that like to play? No, I'm being facetious. What was that like, though? He was a tough customer, but he demanded the best out of everybody.
He did indeed, and I don't hold any of that against him, but the nurturing, gentle side of Dick Williams was lost somewhere in the translation into somebody that used to work for the Third Reich, and I'm not sure who it was, but Dick was right there. He was a disciplinarian. He was no nonsense, and the problem I think that guys had with Dick was not so much that he was a disciplinarian and a no nonsense guy, but he couldn't stand mistakes. And last time I checked, we all make them. And that was a big problem with Dick.
That day, back to the no-hitter, as it went on, the near no-hitter, but as the no-hitter is in play and you're going deeper into the games, we always hear stories, nobody wants to talk to the pitcher, everyone stays away from him. What were the top half of those later innings like when you're in the dugout and you haven't given up a hit yet?
I was pretty sure that I had developed some intrinsic sense of eczema or something else that was terribly transmittable, because nobody would speak to me, and then pretty soon nobody would sit next to me. And that went on for the rest of the game.
Until it was over, because it went to the very last batter or the batter before that.
And then they all came out and said, "Nice job."
Jerry Remy said that 1967 team created all of this. Red Sox Nation, the passion as we know it. He said it reinvented baseball in Boston. How proud are you to be a part of that 1967 team forever?
Well, Tom, thank you. I'm extremely proud of it, a relatively small part that I played, but I do recall that there was a change in the community, there was a change in the atmosphere, there was a change in the approach to the Red Sox that the fans seemed to take, and it had its effect. And at the end of the season, there we were, 92 and 70, and we won.
You did indeed. The 1967 team, the impossible dream. And I'll ask you finally, how you connected with the city, how that team connected with the city. It was a love affair that summer. I mean, Boston fell in love with the Red Sox. What was that like? Do you remember feeling that while you were here?
I remember feeling it when I was here, but I remember, and more recently, I remember on those occasions, and there have been a number, when I've had an opportunity to come back for various reunions, Tony C. Night, World Series, the 100th anniversary of the ballpark. The community absolutely embraced the 67 ball club, and I think in large measure it was because of Yaz, it was because of Lonborg, it was because of Petrocelli, it was because of Russ Gibson, because of a lot of folks, and the fact that I was fortunate enough to be a small part of it is something that I'll always cherish.
Tonight we embrace you for your incredible night on the mound, that performance. What does this night mean to you?
Well, it's just an absolute joy to come back to Boston again and say hello to some folks that I haven't seen in a very long time, and have some people come up to me and say, "Gee, you must be Billy Rohr, would you sign this?" And I have not the remotest idea how they know that or why they care, but they do, and I appreciate it.
Billy, we appreciate you. Thank you. Congratulations, Billy.
Thank you, Tom.
It's a moment we're proud to memorialize. The moment we will remember the near no-hitter and incredible opening day in New York for Billy Rohr. Now it's our honor to welcome 4 members to the Red Sox Hall of Fame, starting with our non-uniformed awardee. To present this award, we welcome to the podium Fenway Sports Group CEO and Boston Red Sox President and CEO, Sam Kennedy.
Thanks, TC. Billy, congratulations. Congratulations to everyone from the 1967 team. I am honored to be here tonight to help induct one of my front office teammates into the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Elaine has witnessed firsthand more Red Sox history than most of us who have been with the organization for a long, long time. She was hired back, sorry, Elaine, in 1988. She worked closely with former Red Sox general managers, our beloved Lou Gorman and Dan Duquette, Red Sox Hall of Famer who's here tonight, during her early years with the organization. Today, she helps navigate every legal obstacle facing the club as Vice President and Assistant General Counsel. To call Elaine a trailblazer is an understatement. She is featured in the National Baseball Hall of Fame's Women in Baseball exhibit. And if that isn't impressive enough, in 2021, Elaine was chosen by Massachusetts Senate President's Office as one of 90 women of color featured in an exhibition at the State House. Both her Cooperstown Hall of Fame tribute and the one that is on display at the State House have her featured along an impressive array of women, including Michelle Obama and Kim Il. So, after 35 years of service, it is well past time that we recognized Elaine with the highest tribute we can bestow. Elaine, I am so proud to see you celebrated in this way and to have you officially recognized alongside the individuals who have had such a lasting impact on the Red Sox organization.
How are you? I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and congratulations, Elaine.
Thank you.
It's funny, I was thinking watching the video, most people in baseball, most people in television get started as an intern, right? That's sort of where you learn and as I always say at Nesson, we made a lot of great accountants, right? You spend 6 months in our internship, they go running for real money and real hours. What about baseball resonated with you? Why did you want to stay? Why did you even want to get started in baseball as an intern?
Well, when I was a youngster, I used to babysit for one of the Mets ball players, Felix Mian, and I started watching Mets games. I just fell in love with baseball. When I was graduating from high school, I learned about a Jackie Robinson Foundation, not internship, a scholarship to St. John's University. And I had never known that there was actually a career in baseball. But once I found out about that, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
When the opening with the Red Sox became available, you reached out to Jackie's wife, right? And you had a conversation with Rachel about what it would be, looking for advice. Why her, and what was that conversation like?
Well, she served as one of my mentors. And when the Red Sox reached out, I had never been to Boston, but I had heard people who were concerned about the racial climate, things like that. So I wanted to feel comfortable coming to Boston. So I talked to her about what my concerns were, and she said that she would reach out to the Red Sox, and she talked to John Harrington about what the position would be. And when we reconnected, she said, Elaine, you really have to do this.
We're glad she told you that.
So am I.
You were named Assistant General Manager in 1990, the first female, just the second person of color to rise to that point. Did you realize at the time what a trailblazer you were? Did it ever occur to you that you were going where other people had not been able to go?
I was aware of it, but I knew that I had to do well in the position, so I just was very focused in learning, what I needed to do to help Lou as his assistant GM, whether it was with negotiating player contracts or drafting contracts, rule compliance, those sorts of things. It was a new position with the Red Sox, an assistant GM. But I was very fortunate that I was approached to do it. Mrs. Yockey told me that she was fully behind me, so I was really excited about it. And yes, I did know that in that environment that it was a big deal, but I knew that I had to go and do my job the best that I could.
And you certainly did. What was it like working with Lou, working with Dan? Dan, of course, inducted into the Hall of Fame last time we did this. What did you learn on that side? Because it would have been easy to stay on the legal side. You got involved in team construction. You got involved in building a playoff contender. What did you learn from the GMs, and what was that experience like?
Well, they included me in everything. I would attend coaches' meetings, and I was involved with signing, Frank Rodriguez, working with our scouts to get that done. So it was very inclusive and a supportive role that I had. Both Lou, who I've been thinking about a lot since this happened, and Dan were very supportive of me and my success.
You're wearing one, you have 4 World Series rings.
I do.
What was it like balancing the duties of the front office, the work you had to do, with being a fan, with being a baseball fan?
Well, being a fan is great. There was a lot of work to do, so that was my focus. I enjoy baseball as a fan, but I know that I had a duty to the Red Sox to do whatever I could to support them and contribute in whatever way I could to making things run well.
Working in 5 different decades, really, right, with this team. Sorry, I'm old too, don't worry. You're one of the few people, there's a lot of people around here tell me they've been here a long time. I'm like, yeah, I've been here since 95, but you've been here for a long time. And in baseball years, that's like dog years. That's like 7 years for every year, so I can't do the math.
Absolutely.
But when you're around it that long, right, you put in the roots and you become part of this. And we talked with Billy Rohr about it a minute ago, the sort of 1967 creating this, but we've seen it now, the 4 championships, the duck boat parades, the golden age of sports. What has it been like? How proud are you to be part of the builders that put that together?
Well, I don't know, this is a very special place. I love working here. I enjoy, having the opportunity to attend games, but I also work with a group in the front office that keeps me so motivated, and I just enjoy what I'm doing. If I'm able to help based upon, the years that I've been here, I've seen a lot. A lot of people will come up to me and ask my advice for certain things that they're dealing with, and I feel like I am still contributing at a high level.
And the office spaces are a lot nicer now. I mean, they've done a nice job fixing them up, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they're great. I'm across the street.
Yeah, good answer. There's a lot more room and a lot more space over there. We celebrate women in baseball now. There weren't many women in baseball when you started.
No.
What does it mean to you to watch that grow and to watch the baseball community embrace women as they enter this?
It's been very fulfilling. When I first came, there were not many women at all on the executive level. The Red Sox now, I know you're up there, all you guys. We have tons of women that are working in the front office and doing well and serving on the executive level. That makes me really happy.
What advice do you have to a young girl, a person of color, looking to get into baseball and saying maybe, well, it's too tough. The odds are against me. What do you say to them?
Well, you have to be flexible, first of all. It's a very competitive industry, so sometimes the entry into it might involve, going to the minor leagues, or if you want to work in baseball, you might want to consider working for another sport. But I think the most important thing that we can bring is our own authentic self. I think it's just very important to be yourself when you're at work, and not trying to be what you think somebody else wants you to be. I think that sets the stage for success.
Well said. I'll ask you finally, you've toiled in the background for a long, long time to be here, to be recognized by the team, to have people here cheering, what does it mean to you?
You know, it was very humbling. Pam Kim was the one that told me that I was being inducted, and she came with Raquel Ferreira and Marcita Thompson, and they surprised me. I am floored, but I am deeply honored.
We're so happy to have you here tonight. Congratulations, Elaine.
Thank you so much.
Elaine Weddington-Steward, a member of the Boston Red Sox Hall of Fame. It is fitting that we are out here on the dirt this evening for our next inductee, a four-time All-Star. This reliever holds several franchise records, including most career saves, which he also owns for another team as well. But we're not getting into that tonight. He's a beloved member of Red Sox Nation. He played 7 seasons for the club and closed out the 2007 World Series. Not only did he star on that mound behind me, but this infield grass became the greatest dance floor in all of Boston. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome him back to Fenway Park, my Nesson teammate and Red Sox Hall of Famer, Jonathan Papelbon. What up, Pap? Double fisting.
What's up, TC? I brought you a drink.
All right, here we go. Thank you,
man.
Cheers. Here's the Jonathan Papelbon. Everybody hold one up. Cheers.
Cheers. First off, can I say something? I know we work together, but can I say something?
Yeah.
The Wakefields, the women in the Red Sox, like this is not happening without them. Thank y'all.
I got to thinking, last time you and I sat on chairs like this, not the Red Sox pregame show we do up there. It was the Cinco Ocho show at Winter Weekend.
That was fun.
And I couldn't help but think, yeah, they put Papelbon first so he wouldn't have as much crown as he did that night. I think it makes sense.
We're drinking vodka tonight.
You noticed that. We are. What does this mean to you tonight? What does it mean to be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame?
So to me, the biggest thing is like who I'm going in with. So Trot and Dustin were two guys to me that Trot when I came up and Dustin who I came up through the minor leagues with were two guys that I don't know. We can ask Pookie, but I don't think they ever came in with a clean uniform. So for me to be inducted with those two type of players means the world to me. And so I viewed myself as an everyday player. You know, I know Theo's not here tonight, but he wanted me to be a starter, and he was dead wrong, y'all. Dead wrong. And so I viewed myself as an everyday player. I wanted to affect the game 75 to 80 times a season. I didn't want to go out there and pitch, once every fifth day. And to me, being able to go into the Hall of Fame with two guys who I think nobody played better right field than Trot, nobody played a better second baseman than Dustin. So, to me, that's the most special thing.
People forget you were John Papelbon, starting pitcher in 2005.
Yeah, my dad was the one who told me, your name is Jonathan, not John.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Lester. You didn't want to get confused, right? You became Jonathan Papelbon, the closer. But you started here, we just talked about this the other day, July 31st, 2005, the trade deadline. Everybody thought Manny Ramirez was gone. Game was like 1:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Nobody sees Manny till he comes out at 4:02. Trade deadline was at 4. So Manny's still with the Red Sox. Nobody knew. Manny comes up, pinch hits, walk-off hit. They get the win.
Yeah, I snuck in here, and thank God Manny was being Manny, and I could just come in and, not too much pressure was on me. All the pressure was on, is Manny getting traded or not? So to me, I just came in and wanted to be a part of the team, and You know, it even goes back to when I was first called up with the Red Sox. You know, I got called up in the spring training game. Trot, you probably remember this. This son of a bitch. He gets drilled, and I was like, oh God, I got to drill somebody. Then Kevin Millar gets drilled. I'm like, oh God, I really got to drill somebody. And then I think Palmeiro came up, and I was like, I can't drill him because he's a Mississippi State guy like me. And then Sosa came up, and I was like, well, they got a Dominican pitcher, and he's Dominican, so I'm going to drill him because he's been drilling everybody. And to be able to continue what the 04 team did, in my opinion, I came into a group of guys, and, you know, Tim Wakefield was the heavy on the team, and, you know, God bless him, man. You know, he bought me my first suit, and there was just so many things that I learned, and I was able to become a big leaguer through the 04 team that set the culture. I mean, these guys, they set the culture, and I just followed in suit, and I came in here and expecting a championship every year.
I asked you about the opening day because I remember that day, and it was chaos. It was chaos, right? Is Manny being traded? Is he not being traded? The whole pregame show is about Manny being traded. Not, oh yeah, and John Papelbon's making his debut, whatever. Is Manny being traded? And that's Boston, right? At its best, Red Sox baseball at Fenway Park is chaos. That's why it can be intimidating for the other team. And you embrace that chaos, right? When you came out a couple years later, when you're coming out to shipping up to Boston and the whole place is standing up doing a river dance, like you thrived in that atmosphere, didn't you?
Yeah, I did because I learned to pitch that way. I learned to pitch as a closer. And, you know, Sarah McKenna's here today. She's here somewhere. I think she's got a headset on, looking like a truck driver.
Running the whole show.
But she was the one that, there she is. She was the one that came up with shipping up to Boston, so we can all give her credit for that. And then the drop kicks came in. The next thing you know, I'm partying with the drop kicks, and we're winning it all. So
Ken Casey made a lot of money.
yeah, that was how it all
worked
went
out for everybody. That championship clincher, right when the regular season clincher was when you need a refill. Take mine. Take mine. There you go. Cheers again.
There you go, TC.
You're not the first guy. Euclid brought some beer when I inducted him into the Hall of Fame. So
Well, that's because
I like this kid. He makes his own beer.
Yeah, he makes his own beer. Yeah.
Make your own vodka?
No,
Not yet.
I make my own moonshine.
Bring moonshine next time. When you guys clinched at the end of the regular season, if I recall, that was the night you had to wait. We had to wait to see what happened in Baltimore. You were waiting, right? Waiting. And then you found out you had clinched. And that's when you first came out and did the dance in the spandex and the Bud Light case on your head. And my 5-year-old kid said, I want to go to Halloween with a Bud Light box on my head. So thank you for that.
I have kids now. I have kids now. You know this.
Yeah. Sorry, it was a Diet Coke box.
So
bad memory.
Yeah, I will say this, that had to do with number one, I blame Alex Cora because he came up with Cinco Ocho. And he was a real thorn in my ass, you know, for a long time. You can even ask my mom and dad. Gave them hell too. But it also created the persona of going out there and fighting for my team. You know, when I crossed the white lines, there was nothing else that mattered except for competing. And for me to be able to play with Dustin and Trot and be able to be inducted with them is so special because those guys compete. There was not a playoff, and I took that to the mound. And so, you know, for me, being able to play in front of these fans and be able to do that in that aspect, I felt like another everyday player. I really did. And so to me, being able to do that in front of these fans who I know, love, and respected that was everything.
I feel the 07 team doesn't get enough credit, right? People think about 04, and rightly so. That broke 86 years, and they came back from 3-0. 13, there was the marathon tragedy that they became very much involved with in this city. It was a historic season in 18. But I often say 07 gets overlooked because it just took care of business kind of from the start of the season. It was just a good team.
Yeah, no question. I think that the '04 team started the culture, started the way of the Red Sox with Trot and Theo and Kevin Millar and David Ortiz with all the clutch hits he had. But the ability to be able to continue that and do it year after year is what's so hard. And I just tried to follow in suit to what they were doing. And to me, there's no better place to do that than in Boston. I've said this before, that Boston Red Sox have the best family atmosphere, or take care of their families more than any other club. Now, I've been to other clubs. Now, Dustin hasn't. He had the best. He had the ability to play here his whole career. I didn't. But there are many other franchises that do not compete on a family level, on a friend level, and what they do with women in the front office. So for me, that was so special, man. And you know, from Raquel to Sam, to Sarah to Pam and all these people, you know, we've been through a lot, man, but this is what makes this organization run, and it always will, and you can't hide that.
Let's go to the end, 07. You were down 3-1 in Cleveland. You come all the way back. Red Sox hadn't clinched a pennant here at home since, I think, 1986. What was it like, that Coco catch to end it and know you're going to the World Series?
Yeah, so for me, once we got past Cleveland, I was good with that, because I felt like Cleveland, we had to beat them, but I knew we was going to whoop the Rockies' butt. We were going to whoop their ass. I knew that. But at the same time, I never disrespected somebody. I played it didn't matter if it was Alex Rodriguez or, Frank Catalanato or some nobody. But
by the way, it was like a 320 hitter against the Red Sox. It was nobody against everybody
actually, I think
else.
he hit 700 off of me. But anyway, I always mess with him. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So for me to be able to continue what the guys in '04 did was the biggest thing that I took to heart and took with me. Like, okay, we are doing what they did, and we're going to continue this culture of the Red Sox way.
Nobody dreams of growing up and starting on trade deadline day. Everybody dreams of growing up and getting the final out of a World Series. What is that like?
Yeah, so Schilling, after the game was over, he came up to me and he said, "Pat, man, you accomplished one of my lifelong dreams. You struck out somebody to win the World Series." And, I never really thought about that. And even the kid that I struck out, I had been playing against since like 18 years old. He went to Ole Miss. I went to Mississippi State. So I faced him many a times. And the best part about it was that I knew that, okay, this culture, this way is still in existence, and I was able to continue that. A guy that was born and raised in the South, I'll be honest with you, when I got drafted by the Red Sox, I didn't know a damn thing about the Red Sox. I didn't. This guy named Joe Mason drafted me, and I was like, "Hey, Joe, Red Sox have they won lately?" I was like, "No, they hadn't won lately." He's like, "Yeah, they want to draft you." And I was like, "Well, if they want to draft me, tell Theo I didn't know who he was. I said, tell the general manager they need to come, watch me." Sure enough, Theo came to SEC tournament, saw me, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm so thankful, and try, this is no bullshit, man. I'm thankful for y'all, man, and what y'all did, what y'all started here, man. This is the reason why we're here.
No doubt about it. I'll ask you finally, it's been fun watching you come back into Red Sox Nation, right? Since you started with us, you started coming around, you do more. What's it been like to be back? Because I'm not sure you knew you were ever going to reconnect with these fans until you finally did. I know you talk about the Savannah Bananas sort of bringing you back to baseball, which is the perfect marriage of player and team if there's ever been one. But getting back here in Boston and becoming part of this again, what has it meant to you?
That's a great question, TC. So we've talked about this in the studio, and I number one, I hated the media when I played. In fact,
Confirmed.
yeah. In fact, I used to put Tic Tacs or breath mints because all y'all's breath was so terrible, and I couldn't stand every last one of you. And now I'm somehow involved with it, and I think that is all because after I got done playing, I was done with it, and it took such a toll on me because I poured everything into it. But then Nesson came into me. I said, no, I don't want to do Nesson. Next year came after I retired. No, I don't want to do Nesson. Thank you for asking, but I do not want to be a part of baseball. And then finally, I realized how much I love the game, right? My son plays, and it's a part of me, and it's made me who I am. And I thank God for that every day. And I thank God for the ability to be a Red Sox and be able to be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. And I could not be any happier to go in with the guys I'm going with.
We couldn't be happier for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you, Pep. Thanks for the vodka. Latest member of the Hall of Fame,
Well, good job, man.
Jonathan Papelbon.